Hi friends, it's your girl Becca Sarah. I hope you're doing amazing. I'm doing fine. So today I'm doing a Married at First Sight series review. And by series review, I mean from season 1 to season 17, because that's all I've watched. I have not watched season 18 at all. So just the first 17 seasons. I started watching Married at First Sight during the pandemic, so in 2020, and I am still watching it till today. And I'm going to tell you my thoughts, my opinions, should it continue, should it not. I am also going to give you some statistics about the show overall, and is it a success or not? So, to overall break this down, Married at First Sight is a reality TV show about arranged marriage. So, I would put it in the category of like the dating shows, like Love is Blind, also Love Island, and shows like that, but it's different. So I would give it more equivalent to like Love is Blind. But this is like at the end of Love is Blind, you decide if you're gonna marry this person or not. This, you don't know who you're marrying. They have a match for you, and at the altar you say I do or not. And this is an arranged marriage. You do not know who you're marrying. You take several applications, and you tell them what you like, what you don't like. The experts review the applications, they interview you, they go to your place and everything like that. And overall, there's always 5 couples. And to continue with this, before I start off with my tangent and I'm doing it in segments, this is a show that overall, my opinion, I think it should end. Their success rate isn't great overall. I don't think it really works. I feel like a lot of people lie. A lot of people are abusive. Overall, this show should end. The majority of the horrible people on this show are men. There are some bad women on this show, I will admit to that. But the majority are men that have been completely terrible. There has been people that have met their soulmates on the show. There have been people that literally have met a monster on the show, meaning the person was just overall bad to them in general. There are people here that at decision day, they said yes, then later on or years on, they got divorced and got married to other people and have children, and etc., etc. So for me, in general, yes, I think this show should stop. Also, this show doesn't give a lot of diversity, and by diversity, I mean into incidences. This is a plain Jane show, and what I mean by that is these are just straight couples. It would have been great for them to mix it up here and there and have in like somewhat people from the LGBTQ plus community. Also, I want more interracial couples. They have had a few interracial couples and they didn't work out, and it wasn't because of them being of it being an interracial couple. And I feel like the ones that they had, they say, oh, these interracial couples don't work, so we're not gonna keep doing them. No, it had to do with the people in that interracial couple, because to be honest, the reasons why they end was disagreements and miscommunications and views that they didn't align with, which would have happened if they were both the same race. They did one time an Asian couple. They didn't work out because they were completely opposite. One was very, very type A, and the other one was more outgoing and completely different. And after that, they have not done an Asian couple, period. And so this show is basically white people with white people, black people with black people. Here and there, they'll do an interracial couple, a white man and a Hispanic lady, black man with a Hispanic lady. I'm trying to do the rest. Hispanic man with a white lady. You see what I'm saying? Going. And pretty much, like I said, why none of them worked out was because of how one of the people were. One was way too bougie for the other, or one was too type A or neurotic for the other. Like, it was basically, what I'm trying to tell you is issues that would have been occurring in the same race would have happened. It has nothing to do with, oh, this person was being racist or like against someone's religion or someone's race or being harmful. And I understand that they don't do that a lot because they don't want someone to be discriminated or someone to be racist to someone else. But I feel like an important topic when you're interviewing these couples would be, have you been in an interracial couple? Are you okay with that? And I remember Johnny, I might be wrong with this, but someone has said that he has been, and there have been other people in the show that have been an interracial couple, but they, even if they had, they shy away from it because this is a very intense process. But still, like, we need to have more representation in everything that comes from the marriages. Have more, like, interracial marriages exist, show them. Same-sex marriages exist, show them as well. Like, the world is not only straight couples. Show the mixture, like, show everything, not just same race couples. And my thing is with this show is they're going based on what people tell them on their interviews, and plus the information they filled out while applying on this show. And the thing is, you can BS, I'm not gonna swear, might later because of when I'm angry, but on the application, and be like da 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 da, and then when the person they match with, and I've seen this time and time again on this show, has been the complete opposite. You see what I mean? Like, people can lie and be like, I'm this way, I'm that way, or be like, oh, I thought no, it should be not based on the information you have told them at all. Because I also there was this one person, I'm not going to they're no longer Olajuwon from the second Boston season. He was with Katrina, and he didn't say that he was overly like he wanted a woman to cook and clean and do everything like more traditional in every aspect. And then when he got to her he was like, I want someone more you see what I mean? Like, people are lying to either get on the show, get more hype, more clout, or I don't know what they want. Because when the show ends, you're either gonna get a lot of hate from people or a lot of love, a lot of like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. But the only thing I would say that is beneficial with this show overall is, if you have, and I'm not saying go on the show to do this, is I would say watch the show and evaluate who you're dating while watching this show, and that's how you'll gain your worth. But a lot of people on this show that have like low self-esteem, low self-worth, after this show they have discovered their voice, they have discovered how amazing they are and have grown. And I feel like watching this show overall, this series overall, it shows people in general, you deserve better. When you are a good person and you treat people with kindness and you're a great person overall, you will get that. You might have to wait a long time to find Prince Charming, have to kiss a lot of frogs. Trust me, been there. But you will find that person. No one deserves someone terrible. You deserve a great person overall, and I believe a lot of people from the show that have had terrible experiences with their partner on this show have found that out, that they are amazing and they deserve better. But there is a theme on this show, and the men in general, the most, have constantly shown this theme. And I was watching something on YouTube before, and someone was reviewing the 2010s, late 2000s, early 2010s show that was on the gaming network. This YouTuber, her name is Kenny, and she was reviewing baggage. And a big theme, especially in 2010, was what the men would do is while observing baggage. And on this show they do this too, and I'm gonna talk about when this show started as well, and they continue doing this theme, is judging women when they haven't experienced something. And that can be, oh, I'm a virgin, judging you right off the bat. You're my first serious relationship, since high school, judging you on that. You're my first relationship in general, judging you on that. And I'm going to talk to you specifically what couples were that, or I was like this, judging you on that. By the way, Married at First Sight started airing in 2014, 2010. And I've had sex before knowing. Here's another reason why someone was judging a woman. I've had sex before, like 2 weeks before then telling me I was on the show because I didn't know I was gonna be picked, judging them on that. It's judgmental, and I'm like, so we're still nowadays judging women because they have a lot of sexual experiences, little sex experiences. Like, no, like, we need to stop. Like, literally, we need to quit that. We need to, no, like, stop. We don't do this to men at all. But for women, like, oh, she's a virgin, there's something wrong. No. She can either, if she wants to wait until marriage, it's fine. If she wants, maybe she's waiting for the right person. Like, there's too many people already, like, regretting their first time. Stop judging overall. Alright, so we're going to I'm gonna continue telling you guys information and then get to nitty gritty. So Married at First Sight aired on the 8th of July 2014 on the network FYI. So it was on FYI from the 8th of July 2014 to the 1st of November 2016. So it was only there on FYI for 2 years. Then it came to Lifetime. And it was on Lifetime from the 20th of April 2017 until the 25th of March of this year. So season 19 is going to air on Peacock. You can watch seasons 1 to 18 on Hulu. Season 18 is not yet on Hulu right now, which is why I haven't watched it. So now I'm going to talk about the success rates and everything like that. Okay, my friends. So over 18 seasons of Married at First Sight, or MAFS, 74 couples have been matched. 39 of them, which equals 53%, mutually chose to stay married after decision day, out of which over 2/3 have since been divorced or have announced that they are getting a divorce. As of March of this year, 12 couples, let me repeat that again, only 12 couples have remained married, which gives this overall series a success rate of 16%. Yes, not 61, 16, which means this show is not successful at all at maintaining marriages and helping the marriage rate increase and the divorce rate decrease. At this point of comparison, according to the Centers for Disease Prevention and Control, aka the CDC, the current 2024 marriage success rate worldwide is 58%. I just had to give that all out beforehand in general. So, like I said, this show should end. And to be honest with you, I would have been 100% okay with this show ending this year, and it was on FYI for 2 years, and then the rest it was on Lifetime, and season 18 was the end of it. It should have just ended, because to be honest with you, a lot of the couples split. A lot of the times they stay and you're like surprised, and then they end up splitting. This show overall doesn't do a good job at this point, because now it's gonna be on Peacock. I feel like this show overall is a good show for you and your girlfriends, you and your partner in general. I feel especially for anyone that wants to give an intervention to anyone. Sit them down, pick a season of this, or watch the whole whatever. Have a cup of wine or whatever alcoholic beverage you drink, and be like, "This is your relationship. You see how terrible this is? This is you guys." And have an intervention like that. This would be your free therapy. I feel like that this is a great way, and this can also help you be like, okay, you see your patterns of bad relationships. This is you. This will be like, oh wait, wow. Because for me, going ahead, with season 17, there was a person, and when I get to 17 and more go into detail, that in the beginning I liked him, then I started not liking him, and then he reminded me of my ex. And like I said, there are people on the show that if you have dated or you've been in a relationship, etc., will remind you of people or yourself. And it's a good free therapy session. So this show started in the New Jersey, New York area in 2023. It's not 2020. Sorry. In the New York, New Jersey area in 2013, but it aired 2014. And I'm gonna tell you their names. So, Jamie and Doug, in the first season, they're the only ones still married. They have 4 children. We had Courtney and Jason. They said yes on Decision Day. I believe they were married for 6 years, got divorced way later on, both got remarried and have children. And then the final character, Monique and Vaughn, on Decision Day, they said no, got divorced. It was better because dude said he wanted one thing, and then, which I discussed earlier, to the experts, and when he was with Monique, was like, I don't want this. And by the way, Jamie and Doug, both white. I will do that in the whole thing when I'm discussing things. Courtney and Jason, white couple. Monique. No, not Monique. I haven't watched this. Some of the names I will pronounce badly, or I will just spell them because I forget how to say their name because it's been that long. Monet and Vaughn, I believe it's Vaughn, are a black couple. And like Survivor, there are 2 seasons per year. So I'm just gonna go I'm not gonna say every season, but I'm gonna talk about the ones that were like big highlights, like, oh, I hated this guy, or oh, this was a big breakout. So I'm now starting at season 6. This season was, I'm trying to get this, was when they first finally, not finally, but the show was renewed on Lifetime. And this was the first season that this show was in Boston. And why I say first time, we go back to Boston again. So the big thing on this season, and why I wanted to bring this up, was that one of the people, it was a male, one of the he's white, one of the guys on this season 6 in Boston, separated from the woman that he was married to because he didn't really like her that much, and ended up with one of the experts later on. They ended up getting married, and I feel like the girl to this day thinks he cheated on her or was secretly with the expert. She later had to leave, and you're like, drama. Yes, it was drama. I don't know what the truth is. They deny it. It doesn't matter. I'm not gonna say their age because I don't know if that's the age of them now or if that was the age when they were on the show. So we have Molly and we have Jonathan. So their final decision was a no on decision day, and they got a divorce. So it has a little explanation on here, and I'm going to read this explanation. I'm not going to tell you guys his last name. I'm not that kind of person. I'm doing first names only. So Jonathan had a relationship with Dr. Jessica and had to stick up with he had to stick up for his relationship the whole show, saying that he did not cheat on Molly. He wasn't doing anything behind her back or with Dr. Jessica at all. But here's the tea. 5 months after the season wrapped, they were together. They became, Jonathan and Dr. Jessica got engaged on the April 2019. Their wedding was supposed to be on October 2020, but because of COVID, they had to reschedule. But now, as of the 18th of October 2022, they are now officially married. But that was, like I said, very heightening, very dramatic. of, I remember Molly during watching like the show, like during the reunion, because the reunion is always a year or 6 months after, I forget how long after, and she was looking back on the clip that now they were dating. Now Jonathan and Dr. Jessica were dating. She had to leave the show because of that. By the way, scandal. It was like, oh, maybe that's why she was more on his side, because she liked him, he liked her. And they're like, no, we didn't do anything while on the show. And I'm like, okay. Do I believe it? Do I not? If you're asking me, I think, here's the thing. This is, I don't know them. I don't know the truth. Jonathan showed signs that he didn't like Molly. So he didn't like Molly anyway. And I remember someone saying this quote before, saying how guys fall in love with what they see, girls fall in love with what they hear. Meaning men are more visual and women are more, they might not like you, like fit you physically, but like they like your personality. And I'm gonna have a pause before I keep going, and talk about this a little bit more. I've seen in this show, you walk, the woman walks down the aisle and she's not attracted to the guy, and you're not always going to be attracted to whoever you're marrying on this show, but the women try, and if they end up staying with the guy, they fall in love with his personality. Like, he's funny, oh my gosh, he makes me laugh all the time, he has a great personality. Like, there's things about him that she likes. She doesn't like his appearance, but she grew to like him, to love him, to care for him because of his personality. On the other hand, this is where you get the dun dun dun. Men, and I'm just going to go based on this show, and because I feel like some of the guys hearing this will be like, no, we're not. And I'm like, I feel like you guys are. Go more based on what they see. And we'll continue. I'll continue giving examples of that as well. And for my example, for a woman not liking what she sees, and then ending up liking the guy because of his personality, I am going to go all the way up to season 1 in the New York, New Jersey season, the first season of this whole show, with Jamie and Doug. Jamie is beautiful. Beautiful, 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 beautiful. Doug, I don't think he's attractive. That's my opinion. Jamie did not as well. And she gets constant criticized every time they re-air her season, every time there's a new season, because they do that. From new people that watch the show. She did not like Doug's appearance at all. And that has happened with many different women. They did not like they weren't initially like physically attracted. She fell in love with his personality. Like I said, they're still married. They have 4 children. His personality is what won her over to him. Which, like I said before, women go more base if they're gonna give you like more of a. If they want to give you more of a chance, they will what if they fall in love with your personality, you'll have them forever. If they don't like how you look or your personality, because the personality is what's more in key, you're done with. Well, men, it's more physical, because in a lot of examples I'm going to talk about is the men, if they decide not to divorce you after the honeymoon or leave you after the honeymoon, if they don't find you attractive physically while they first see you, they're gone. They're done. If they'll either cheat on you during the whole marriage process, call you names. There was a guy named Zach. I'll get to him soon. They'll belittle you, call you the most horrible things ever. And this shows in this series in general. The phrase, if he liked you, he would, is what this shows in general. By the way, this is going to be a long podcast, by the way, so if you want to, this is a disclaimer point. So on your drive, get a snack, do some things while listening to this. Okay, so now we are on season 9, which was in North Carolina, in Charlotte. So do you guys remember in the beginning when I talked to you guys about men being... Oh wait, I forgot 1 second to talk about. By the way, Jonathan and Molly, they're a white couple, and Dr. Jessica is also white. Okay, continue. When I was talking to you guys about how guys were being very discriminatory towards women who either were they never had sex before, or their last serious relationship was in high school, or this is their first relationship. So we are getting, this is a big season 9 in Charlotte, where two of these happens, which one was she never had sex, and another was her last serious relationship was in high school. And both these guys were so judgmental. One later on saved himself. The other one, still terrible. Okay, so we're gonna talk about this one first. And the one we're gonna talk about is about Iris. She has never had sex. After there was a joke that she made at the reunion, and she's like, I can say, like, I've been divorced and still never had sex. And I'm like, oh, girlie, I'm so sorry, you didn't deserve that. And she was married to a guy named Keith. She on not their honeymoon, but on, they always have bedtime talk after the wedding day, and she told him she was a virgin, and he was like, oh. And after that, never tried to explore anything or take baby steps or initiating foreplay or anything, like the little stuff at all. Didn't touch her. And I'm like, I understand to a point, like, oh, she doesn't have experience. The only part I understand is, like, you might be nervous, like, being like, okay, I'm gonna take this slow, baby steps with her because it's going to be her first time, but not being willing to like at least try with her, or being like, that was your turn off because she said she was a virgin, is just messed up. And I was mad at him overall. And this is 2019, guys, okay? I know we're still in the 2010s where it was like, oh, virgin bad, which I don't get why, but this annoys me so much. Like, she was so kind to you, so compassionate, willing. You did not like her once she told you she was a virgin, and that's just plain messed up. She, like, I don't understand it at all, how that's bad, or like, at some point everybody is a virgin. So men irritate me. Anyway, continue on. The second person I'm gonna talk to you about in this season, I'm gonna spell her name because I feel like I'm gonna mess it up. Deonna. I'm probably saying her name wrong. Deonna. So, her last relationship, when we were filming it, when watching the show, was 10 years from now. So when she was in high school, and he was like, "You haven't had a relationship." This is Greg was saying that you haven't had a relationship since high school. What's wrong? Okay. Pause. This was my reaction from Greg because I was already annoyed with Keith. What do you mean, what's wrong with her? You do not know how her last relationship ended. And I love how when she explained it, she was like, during that time, I was dating. I just didn't have a serious relationship. I was discovering myself, what I liked, what I did not like, how I can change, and how I can better my next relationship. And once she explained that, and then they got into more trials, because he was like, oh, I don't know if she could handle marriage because she has, and I'm like, really, her saying that, for me, I was like, there's nothing wrong with that. I don't, you men are so judgmental. And I can say that, like, because I've watched the series. You guys are so judgmental. A girl's, you telling that to her, she's like, oh, I haven't. I'm like, oh, okay. That's different. It takes a little bit of time. Doesn't judge you for it. Or, like, especially to the point that you men are doing it, and might judge you a little bit for it, but not like to the point like, oh, you're not. I have disclosure. I have seen like there was like a guy that was celibate being like, oh, that's like a girl being like, oh, that's weird. That took some time. I was like a little bit uncomfortable with it, but then was used to it. But I have never heard any girl on this show been as judgmental as you men that come into this show is. Because you guys are like, oh, she hasn't had sex, period. How is she ready for marriage? Oh, she hasn't been in a relationship at all. How is she ready for marriage? Oh, she hasn't been in a relationship for 10 years. How is she ready for marriage? I have never heard any of these girls gone to such extreme with the, oh, he has been celibate. How is he ready for? I have not heard that. I have heard you guys emotionally, I don't know about physically, emotionally, psychologically abuse these women to the, and there, or a fight that you guys had that you men take to the extreme. And I'm not talking about only white men. I've seen every man that has been on the show, like black men, Hispanic men, white men, Asian men, all of you men in general, take it to the extreme. Be like, oh, how are you ready for me? Because I'm like, dude, why are you going into such an extreme when it doesn't? And this is not me being against men. This is just like a lot, at least the ones that are in this show, like the very negative ones, the extreme ones, the bad ones that have been on this show have shown the extreme of very judgmental for, I don't know, you men, especially if you guys are very judgmental, like, go to therapy. There's no reason for you to be judgmental like that. For what? Pourquoi? Like, why? Like, there's nothing wrong with her being a virgin. There's nothing wrong if, like, outside of the show, there's nothing wrong if you're dating a girl and she's a virgin. There's nothing wrong with her for that. If you're her first boyfriend, there's nothing wrong with that. If you're her first serious boyfriend since high school, there's nothing wrong with that. Stop judging. In general, stop. And I'm saying that for both sides. Like, stop judging. You don't know people's trauma. You don't know how they grew up. Like, stop. That rant is over. We're gonna get other rants going on, so we're just gonna keep going to another season. Okay, I'm gonna do this one. This is season 10, and this is in DC, and I'm gonna talk about this couple in particular because there's two couples I want to talk about, actually. But there's one I want to talk to particular because I feel like the men that listen to this podcast are like, she's only judging men. No, sorry, that's my girl voice. They're going to be like, she's only judging men. And I'm like, whatever. Because a lot of you men are a-holes. Anyway, but I will talk about one girl that is toxic on this show. That was, like, very concerningly toxic. So, to give you men that are like, oh, she's only talking about the bad guys. Here, I'm talking about a not so good girl on here. So, you guys get, like, a 10-minute break. So, this is a black couple. And Milka and Michael, okay? She has a lot of trauma. A lot of daddy issues. I understand the daddy issues. I have daddy issues. I understand that completely. Abandonment issues. A lot of it. A lot of things that I feel like if she gone to therapy, it would fix that. And a lot of things that Michael would do would trigger that. And her response to being triggered was that she was very explosive, abusive. And it was like, oh, wow, girl. You're going to the extreme. Oh, okay. Calm down a little bit. Calm down. I understand you. I've never, someone that have the daddy issues part. Like, I've never gone to that. I've never even gone a minuscule of where you gone. Like, wow. Okay. So, I'm hoping, like, at this time, like, she did say, like, at the reunion, she's like, oh, I saw my behavior, I'm getting therapy, getting help for that, and she deserves to get help from that, because that's not gonna benefit her at all in her future to get a successful relationship, because that how she behaved was scary. Okay, so now we're gonna talk about an a-hole. And he's not an a-hole that like pissed me off to the point that I'm like pissed off, but he is an a-hole. And disclaimer here is I'm going to be specific with this because I do go to the gym. I feel like a lot of people are like, oh, wait. I go to the gym. I like going to the gym. But at the same time, I know I used the word, but at the same time, I would not date anyone from the gym, especially the guys that are like lifting weight and breaking them constantly. They're probably really great gym people in the gym. I'm friends with, I've had personal trainers. I know two good friends of mine are personal trainers. My last personal trainer is my friend, and my personal trainer now we have become friends because you can be friends with your personal trainer. Okay, so let's get into like the actual couple. So we have Mindy and we have Zach. So Zach is a fitness professional. What I would call him is he's a pretty boy. He's okay, you know, like to anyone that's attracted to men, you know, the pretty boys, they know they're pretty, they know they're hot, they know they're all that, and when they see you and they're like you're two, even though you're not two. Okay, Mindy's not ugly. He saw her and he was not attracted to her since day one. At their wedding day, he asked if they could take a selfie on Instagram, and from that point I saw him, I'm like, oh, he's good looking and he knows it. That's fine. But when he did that, I was like, okay, now you are like a 5 now, just from that moment alone, because you're so into yourself. And by the way, Mindy is a figure skating coach. So he, being Zach, would constantly tell Mindy, I'm not into you, you're not attracted, I'm attracted. He even cheated on her. He was just like emotionally abusive. And then for me personally, I feel like he was only here to get more Instagram followers because he's a pretty boy. So I did not like him at all. Like, Mindy did not deserve that. She is a good looking person. You should never, I get like you're not attracted to people, like that's normal, but like constantly being like you're like, even verbally saying you're ugly, or like in some way saying constantly or even a little bit, is degrading and horrible, and you should know better. I want a side note because I thought this was really cool. So season 11 in New Orleans, they had best friends, both in the same season, getting married. One is still married, one is still divorced. So I'm gonna first. So Miles and Karen, they said yes on the decision. They're divorcing now. Oh, I think it's probably because of she's more type A, he's more free. You get me. She's more type A. That's why I saw that they were in the season. I'm like, they're saying yes. I'm like, but she's more type A. You're more like life of the party. And then the other best friend is Woody and Amani. I love them so much. So much. They have 2 children, still married. They're so cute they're so cute. By the way, both of these couples are black. And then the Mindy and Zach, they're both white. And yeah, Mocha and Michael are black. I'm just making sure I say their races as well. So there was one successful interracial couple, and I want to bring them out in this. So they are from season 12 of Married at First Sight in Atlanta. If you watch Catfish, we also call it Cat Atlanta because there's a lot of catfishes in there. And the relationship I want to highlight because I like them so much, and that was making sure I made Brianna and Vincent. Brianna is a black woman. Vincent is a Hispanic man. They were so cute. Their relationship was so adorable. I've been in talking about the Hispanic thing. I have been with a couple Latinos myself, Hispanic men myself. Like, their relationship was so adorable, so cute. Like I said before, they are. Let me make sure if it's. Oh, okay. I wanted to make sure before I said they are. They have a daughter born on the 2023 in January. So yeah, they were so adorable, so cute. One of my favorite couples of that season. There was another interracial couple in this season as well that did not work out, and that was Claire and Ryan. Claire is a white woman, and Ryan was a black man, but not he was interracial. His mom is white, his dad is black, and they did not work out because of belief systems. I forget. Like, they said yes on decision day, and then later got divorced. So it was, oh yes, I remember now specifically what the belief system was. She did not grow up in the church. He did. And he wanted, because his parents also wanted to raise their children in the church, and she wanted to give her children free will, which I agree with. And that meant not putting their children in the church until their children until their children were in the age where they could decide to go to church or not, which I think is a good idea. Meaning, like, oh, you're 10, do you want to go to church? And their child being like, yes, I do, and then taking them to church. Well, he was like, no, they're growing up in the church. And I'm like, no, I don't think you should be forcing children, because then they're gonna hate. They could end up getting out of the church and being like, no, I don't like this. And then I'd rather your children not become and then you'll have children that become atheists. Because anyway, so that was their issue. And I feel like a lot of the couples in this series that have big issues, it has to do with religion. And if one of the couples, like, she had no issue with him growing up in the church and being religious. She just was like, I don't want to force my children to be in the church. And I remember one person in later seasons was like, I was forced to be in the church. Her husband was like, I want our children to go to church. And she was like, no, I don't want our children to be forced to be in the church. I was forced to be in the church as well. And I did not like that. And that made me go away from it for a little bit. But then I came back. And this is what I'm saying. I'm like, I don't think you should force children to go to the church or not. Like, look, because you don't want them to hate it. And then leave. Okay, now we are going to season 13, Houston. And this is the first season that we have a Asian couple. They ended up, I want to make sure, getting a divorce and saying no on decision day. They both know each other. She walked down the aisle, and this is not me exaggerating. She was like, oh, that's Johnny. I know Johnny. In high school, he was always a class clown. He always was goofed off. He was never serious at school, meaning, like, some days he would skip schools. Like, he wasn't really, he was more, like, into playing, like, football and having fun. Like, he wasn't, like, really, like she was type A, like, into her books. And, like, her she has more of a Asian name. I'm just gonna spell it Bao. And for me, I was like, me particularly getting to know her personality, I was like, you're too much type A for me. Because I feel like you're the type of person, like, there's, like, times, like, I want to, like, oh, we lose, let's go do this, let's do this. Like, we can, like, not every, like day, like, be, like, so, like, for example, like, in university, like, you're very tired. This is a great example. You're very tired, like, I've been working for 7 days straight. I have all morning. I want to sleep. I feel like she would be like, "No, we have class. Let's go." And I'm like, "No, I can skip 1 day of class for university. I'm still gonna pass." And she'd be like, "No, like, I can't." She's too type A, and she was like that a lot during the relationship. He was like, "Oh," she was like, "Okay, this is red." Like, okay, let's say, like, you're organizing a closet. I think I can't do this, but she'd be like, this section's all red. You can't put a blue shirt right there in the middle. That messes it up. So this is all red. This is the red section. This is the blue section. I'm like, no. This is, like, too... And I believe Johnny was, like, too... This is too much. That they didn't work out. Another... wait, I'm making sure. Okay, so there was an interracial couple that season, and that was Myra she was Hispanic, and Gil, he was a black man, and they didn't end up staying together because she was very bougie. Very bougie. Like, she's a leadership coach. She made her own company. So she's an entrepreneur. So she built a whole lifestyle for herself. Like, I saw her closet. Like, she has Gucci, Prada. Like, I was like, oh, I love her closet. I would love to shop at her closet. So cute. But like I said, she made a name for herself. She had a company, built it up, and she was like, no, I'm not. And poor Gail, he's a firefighter, so he doesn't make a lot of money as she did, and they had again, lifestyle issues. See, this is what I'm talking about. I've been giving you like a lot of examples of like interracial couples and how they do not work, and it has to do with, again, lifestyle issues, which can happen in any relationship. It could happen in the same race relationship. Religious issues can happen in any relationship, even if you guys are the same race. So for them to not keep doing interracial relationship doesn't make any sense, because same race relationships can deal with the same issues. And because he was like I can't afford to take you to these nice restaurants, and she was like, no, I already, and she was like, I remember Myra saying, I've grown up poor with no money. I built this company up, made this company, and now I'm successful. I don't want to go back to being frugal and poor or anything, which I understand completely. She shouldn't have to like change her lifestyle. She's like, I'm a workaholic. I'm working hard a lot. I'm proud of myself and where I am now, because I was at the bottom. I had nothing to my name. Now I have something to my name. I don't want to go backwards. Yes, and like I said before, I talked about season 14, which was the second season that was in Boston. Olajuwon and Katina, they were both party people. They said yes on decision day. Later on, got divorced. Now they're dating. Okay, but like, yeah, he told the Dr. Pepper, who again has been here the whole series in general, and Pastor Cal, what he wanted. It ended up he wanted something more traditional, and then they worked through it. Oh, okay. Here's another interracial couple on the Boston. I'm just gonna keep doing interracial couples and showing you guys examples of how I'm like, if they were the same race, same issue. Okay, so we had Noi, who's Asian. No, I believe they both are Asian because of his last name. And Steve, who's half Asian, half white. And they said yes on decision day. They are now divorced. And it's Noi. She came from a background. Her parents or grandparents were refugees, and she was from a very low income, and she doesn't want to go back from there. And Steve, he used to be a sales engineer. Now he does freelance and And with that, it kind of, because sometimes you can find stuff for freelance, sometimes you can't. And the money insecurity, because again, she grew up very poor, scared her. And that was a very, very serious point that scared her a lot in their marriage. And overall, that's what ended up them getting a divorce. Again, I'm gonna keep iterating. Every time they have an interracial couple, it has to, their issue why they get a divorce is an issue that the same race would get a divorce for. Their issue of why they got a divorce has nothing to do with someone using a racial slur, someone was being disrespectful to their race. It had nothing negative like that to deal with it. So, like I said, married at first sight, you can do more interracial couples, but you choose not to. Okay, now we're gonna do San Diego season 15. Another interracial couple. I'm just highlighting interracial couples at this point. We have Lindy and Miguel. Miguel's Hispanic and Lindy is a white woman. He's a big skeptic. Yeah. Like, he didn't really trust the process would work. He's always like, oh, this will end, this will end, this will end, this will end. What's happening? This is gonna end, this is gonna end, this is gonna end. They said yes on decision day. They are now divorced. And I'm thinking that literally him saying this is gonna end, 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 and being so negative in that aspect ended to their divorce. Because who wants to constantly thinking like, oh, this is gonna change? Like, he did that all through their marriage, like a lot of times during their marriage. And then at one time he's like the negativity that he was bringing, like, oh, this can't be true, this is like after decision day it's gonna end and something bad's gonna happen. And I'm like, who wants to constantly hear negativity that your marriage is going to fail? So that's how they ended. So I want to talk about Alex and Justin. Justin, I did not like Justin because I'm trying to remember. He was saying a lot of negative things about Nate for no reason, thinking like he's big guy, saying things. So he was paired with Alexis, and he was celibate for a year or two. She was like, okay, that's different, but okay. It took her some time. They end up having sex, and then he asked her to keep it quiet, not to tell anyone. She listened to him. But he was like, he was the guy that I did not like at all this season. Like, I watched this season. There's another guy that I didn't like more than him. I watched this season and I was like, I can't stand this guy. Every time I saw him, I'm like, there's something fake about him. And whilst I'm not gonna spoil stuff, but while watching this season, I'm like, that was it. You know when your gut tells you something? Trust your guts, my friends. Trust your gut. And then he would like gaslit Alexis, So they said yes on decision day, and then that day after they both said yes, he said something very rude and disrespectful to her. So they got the day after, she was like, no, I'm done, divorce. And I'm like, yeah, I agree, divorce. And then he's gonna like guilt trip and be rude to everybody. Like, I don't like Justin. I can't stand Justin. Now, before I continue, I am going to tell you guys the guy I cannot stand from Married at First Sight. Alright, so we're going back to season 12, which is the Atlanta season. I was telling you guys about how I have my favorite couple, which was Brianna and Vincent. I literally, and then I told you about Claire and Ryan, and my brain and my mind went loop, because I hated this guy so much when I didn't notice it. That's how much I literally don't have like this dude. So in the same season, there's a guy I cannot stand. He's the guy I cannot stand the whole entire series. Even more than the guy I'm going to talk to you guys about in the man in season 17. Okay. So this is a black couple. And by the way, the couple I was talking about before, who were Alexis and Justin from season 15, they were a black couple. So this next couple is also a black couple, and that is amazing Paige, Saint Paige. And I call her Saint Paige because I think she's a great person. Plus, the shit, there you go, I just sweared, that she had to deal with Chris. Okay. Like I said before, Justin, when I first saw Justin, I was like, I can't stand this dude. I don't know what it is, but I can't stand you. Every time I see you, I'm like, I don't know yet, but I don't like you. Chris was the same thing. But the difference is, with Chris, I saw F-boy. I was like, you're an F-boy, I see it. And when you deal with a lot of like a-holes, or you've liked some, or you dated some, or you've seen your friends date them in general, you get the and he proved me right, just like Justin did. Proved me right. Alright, Chris was so into physical appearance too much. How he talked was terrible. How he talked about women were terrible. I'm just gonna tell you what he did. Okay? He cheated while on the experience. Poor Paige. When this happened, I was crying for her. So, he ended up getting his ex pregnant. So, basically, he cheated in the relationship. One of the days, he talked to Paige, was like, I got my ex-girlfriend pregnant. My girl Paige crying. I felt so bad for her. I was like, a-hole, I hate you. All the things that he's done, all his F-boy ways, all the things, she was like, I forgive you, I'm there for you, I'll be by her side. And during the reunion, she's like, I've been to hell and back with this dude. And I'm like, yes, you did. Like, girl, I would have literally been, I'm done. But to be honest with you, I probably would have felt the signs, and I'd be like, no, you giving me a guy that, no. And I'm gonna tell you later if I would do this experience. No. No. Like, he was, no. He was disrespectful. He emotionally manipulated her. Like, he was just overall disrespectful. Got another girl pregnant because he wasn't attracted to her. He was just, in general, Chris, terrible guy. Okay. I will read what the notes say about Chris, because I don't think my explanation do it justice. So it says here, another first occurrence in this season when Chris, yes, a-hole Chris, that's what I'm calling him, his former fiance contacted him while he was on his honeymoon to let him know that she was pregnant. So yes, Chris was married before. I'm gonna continue that because that's what the notes. I knew he was married before. I knew he was married before because he said it on the show. His wedding ended because he cheated on her. So he's a serial cheater. And to be honest with you, I don't do cheaters. Like when I talk to, side note, when I talk to guys or anything, I said my deal breaker is if you cheated. Because for me, once a cheater, always a cheater. So he cheated on her with someone else. That fiance ended things with him. What I got to that was they continually like hooked up, so she got pregnant. And oh, Chris, you're the last person I hooked up with, calls him being like, I'm pregnant with your baby. She doesn't know about the experience. So that's Chris. And we're done with that. Here's another one for the males out there, so I can give you guys a little bit of a break. I might give you 2 actually, men. So season 16. Wait, no, actually, let me do the season before that. Sorry, my bad. Season 14. Okay. We have a couple named Alyssa and Chris. Okay. Alyssa is a social media manager. Oh, so am I. And Chris is a realtor. Alyssa did not at all like Chris. She didn't want to be around him. Made that not present and audible to Chris. So I give her a applaud for that. But she made it visible and apparent to the production. Especially, we heard it as viewers. And we don't know what there were some things that, again, like I said, a lot of the girls, they might not like their partner physically, but they try to connect through physical, activities and their personality. There are things that were said by his friends in the reception that she did not like, that hindered the experience as well. And I feel like she probably could have taken it a different way and probably and also communicated to him the things that his friends said that were red flags to her, and that could have possibly fix things and for people to not hate her as much. Okay, so now let's go back to season 16, and we have Dominique and McKinley. They're an interracial couple, and she was younger than him. There's a couple like sometimes the woman's older, sometimes the man's older, younger. It's a mix and match. So a lot of people would call him Mac that season. And that season was in Nashville. He is from, I believe he said Michigan, and then he moved. He was living in his family friends' place, because he hasn't found a permanent residence. And Dom, because she went to visit, and it was like, you're living at a friend's place? Like, you don't have your own place? Like, I have fear that you're not going to stay. You're not going to be committed. I don't want to move. Da-da-da-da. And he was like, well, since we're married, like, after the experience, I wanted to, like, pick a place with you. And it might be because she's way younger. I don't think it is because she's way younger. There's been girls here that were younger. I think there were, like, a couple things that she did not like about him, especially since, like, he didn't have his own space, and she did, that she thought that he was behind. That made her want to end things. And she was too stubborn and stuck in her ways, which there's a couple incidents of that during the season, that she was like, she wanted a divorce. And that is with me, with the little brownie points that I am going to give to you guys, to you men. See, there's been a couple, like 4 or 5 for you guys, like a handful. But the majority, the people that were sucky were the men. In general, for me personally, I would not go on the show. This is people's life. I'm not dragging people in it. I don't want people to think things negative about me overall, for me, I'm a nice person, but, like, again, I have my type, and they're perceived, like, the experts, like I said, like how they do things, and how it's more like, oh no, we're gonna put the same race with the same race. Or even if you have had, like, other partners in other races, they're like, for me, like, I mostly date outside of my race. So for me in general, like, I feel like, again, kissed a couple bad frogs, it's okay. I'll find whoever I'm meant to be with. And for me personally, I do not think experts would help me in that, because they're going based on, like I said, what the person writes down. The person could be a completely different person. So we're gonna go to now season 17. Why I made this podcast. Alright, this podcast was in Denver, Colorado. And I'm gonna talk about the last trope in the 3 that I talked to you about before. First, you would be the first having sex with a first relationship since high school, and now first boyfriend. But before I get to season 17, overall, one pattern I've seen in every season, which I love a lot, is how much the girls get along and how they have made a sisterhood of MAFS. And I love their bonds and how they're there for each other so much. Great job, girls. Yay, girl power. Okay. This season is the first season I've saw someone with my name. So I'm gonna call her by her first. No, I'm gonna do what The Bachelor does. I'm gonna say Becca H. Yeah. Okay. So overall this season, there has been guys that at the beginning I liked. In season 17, there's been guys at the beginning that I like that ended up disliking. The only guy that I'm fine, whatever, did not rub me the wrong way was Mike. I felt bad for him because for the first time ever, the person that he was matched with the first time saw him, was I can't do this, and went the other way, which is a first. And I was I feel bad for this guy. He got a second chance with Chloe, ended up saying no to her because either I don't think he was ready for this experience and marriage, to be honest with you. But yeah. Alright, so there was an interracial couple this season, and that was Lauren, black woman, Orion, Native American man. And they had a conversation that rubbed him the wrong way. And this is by his words. He said he was too stubborn to get past it. And that's what ended it. And I would agree. Because they ended up getting divorced after the honeymoon. And there are different cultures. They were talking about race and how the USA has been very discriminatory and against black people and also Native Americans. And she was which I feel it's a very good conversation to have. What I've heard the word Redskins, what does that mean? What does that dictate? And I remember him in the dining room being I shouldn't be a teacher to my spouse or anyone I'm in a relationship. They should know. And I'm you're not always gonna know. It's good to learn. And because for me, as a friend or as a partner, because for me in general, I'm an LGBTQ plus ally. I'm for the rights of women and minorities as well, and I want to know everything. So when my friend or my partner is being attacked, I'd be no, you cannot say that. That's disrespectful. Do you know what you're saying? Because maybe out of ignorance they're using it. But if they know what it I want to have your back as a person, me as in general as a person. I want to have your back. And he was oh, it means this and this. And I'm after that, he didn't see her the same way, and I was like, then you shouldn't get married, Orion. If you're not able to have the conversation with someone to understand, okay, these are bad words, like, how is she supposed to defend you? Like, if someone says a rude slur to you, she would be like, don't say that to my husband. But as how I see Lauren is, she has, like, the people she loves back. So she'd be like, don't say that to my husband. This is really hurtful for indigenous people because of X, Y, Z. But for you to be like, oh, I have to give her a history lesson. And I'm like, they don't I'm just going to tell you this. They don't teach you that. They're just like, like, a lot of people, all they know about the Redskin, like, that name is, there's a American football team called that. For I don't know what reason, to be honest. It should be changed because I also had a history lesson from that. I was like, thank you. I'm glad to learn that. Like, anyway, also, side note, Orion manipulated her constantly, and he would be like, oh, I want a divorce. Oh no, I don't want to. I want to get back with Lauren. I don't want to get back to Lauren. And he would say to the group, like, I want to try to be friends with Lauren. Never contact her, only for show. Also, the men in general, Becca H said this perfectly, and I completely agree with her. The guys were here for tactics. Like, they wanted optics. My bad, not toxic. Optics. They wanted to make sure that they were viewed amazingly on the show. They didn't want to be viewed negatively on the show. I can see right through it, like, that, because I'm like, you're the one asking for the divorce, Orion. I'm gonna continue with the boys in a second, other boys in a second, but, and then you're saying, oh, I want to be friends. No, stop being, you boys, all you boys except for Mike this season are fake. Okay. I want to talk about my friend. My friend, I don't know her, but my girl Emily. Emily has never been in a serious relationship. She has been ghosted a lot. I've been ghosted before too. Horrible feeling. Brendan was gonna be her first relationship. It's her first relationship. And overall, I am very proud of her. She did an amazing job. For her first serious relationship, overall, she did a phenomenal job. Great job, girl. Great job. Very proud. Like, how you handled yourself, how you did things. It reminded me, like, how she did some things reminded me of how I handled my first relationship. She did a really good job. Like, I feel like a lot of things, like, she was silenced for, and again, that's why I relate to her in her first relationship. Alright, this is a PSTD, I think I said it right. For me, Brendan, he reminded me of my ex. He's very manipulative. He doesn't take accountability for nothing. Silenced her a lot. There was, like, points of when Dr. Pia was like, so Emily, you were making space. What is this for? And he's like, no. Or there was a part where Pastor Cal was like, is there anything you don't like about her or what she needs to work in, he's like, we're not gonna talk about it right now. He was speaking for them. It was his way or the highway. Very controlling. Very controlling, and I feel like Emily was like keeping how she was feeling inside a lot, and keeping that in a lot in general. Okay, I am now going to do another rant. So, Cameron and Brendan, I saw the reunion, still not taking accountability of what they did. Kept saying, I didn't say this, I didn't say that. Also, I have an issue with Kevin Fraser this season as well in the reunion. Cameron said he has never said he wanted someone slimmer or wanted something this. There's a clip of him saying that, and he even said that during Decision Day as well. Me personally, I would have been like, oh wait, remember when you said roll the clip? What? You're being too neutral. You're okay with like giving a little slap hit towards the girls, but with the men you're like, nah, I'm having the back. No, stop it. That's not how you do things. Show the clips. Show what happened. Stop it. The women took accountability completely. The men did not. Brendan one time took accountability, and he was like, Dr. Pia, I'm sorry for being disrespectful to you. You need to also apologize to my girl Emily, because you were disrespectful to her as well. Alright. So I'm going to start with Cameron. Cameron, when you and Claire were dancing in your reception, you were saying, I wanted a girl more taller because of optics. I am a 6'4" man, and she told him that she was 5'2", like close to my height, like a shorter girl. And he's like, yeah, I wanted someone taller because of height. You said that during the reunion. You said you didn't say that. Me, if I was the host, roll the clip. Here's the clip of in the reception when you said that. Cameron, you said you didn't want anyone more slimmer, more thin. You, at the final decision, you said that you apologized for telling Claire that you wanted someone more slimmer, someone more. I had it written down in my notes. Give me 1 second. Yes, so he's like looking at my notes. He said, I need someone that was 5'5" minimum because I'm a tall dude. So you are too you're too short for me, and not what I wanted, because I asked for someone that was at least 5'5". Continuing on, like I said, when Becca said that you men were lying, she was saying the truth, because on Decision Day you said you went to Claire and was like, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said at all I wanted someone slender. That could hurt any girl's feelings. And now you're like, no, I never said that. BS. A lot of you men this season love to tell lies and are continually lying when there's evidence of your lies. And I don't like how Kevin Frazier is protecting you guys to not let's show those clips. And I feel like the only person that's man on this season that is like, I'm sorry, honey, you deserve better, and has the women's back is Pastor Cal. What? Heaven, why aren't you having the women's back? And by the way, Pastor Cal is a black man, and Kevin Frazier is also a black man. But I'm like, why aren't you having their back? Because I feel like you have more empathy towards the males for some reason. And the women in the reunion, they're all wearing pink, and the guys are... no, not the guys. Brendan, of all people, were like, oh, see, what do you mean, what optics or whatever? You guys are being... are doing optics because you're all in pink. No, they're wearing pink, and they said that too. As a union, they were hushed down by you guys. They wanted to protect. They wanted to follow, like they said, like, you have to listen to your husband. You have to have your back of your husband. That's what they were doing, and they're like, no. After the whole season, we're like, no. They were sick of it, and they're like, no. We're gonna tell our truth. And we could see, like, by watching it, that they were hiding something because they were trying to not cause friction with you boys. And I call you boys because that's what you are. Yeah, so you guys want to look clean, and you keep like, oh, I didn't say that, I didn't say that, I didn't say that. But there's evidence that you guys said that. And Brendan, I don't, like... There was a part in the reunion where you're like, I never liked her, or I didn't like her after the honeymoon for some reason, or blah, 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 blah. We all saw that you were checked out after the honeymoon. We also saw that you were trying to control everything about her. And you... being like, oh, you're super negative. How? She is so positive, so bubbly, so upbeat. I didn't see anything negative. You were like, oh, she was negative because she didn't like this. And I'm like, no, she had an accident. She had a bike accident. And a lot of people after that accident would have been negative. She was negative. Okay, you didn't like her for XYZ. Fine. Just admit it. Everybody on the show, all the experts that came, even her, were like, oh, what don't you like about her? Oh, I'm not going to say it. I'm protecting her. We are grown women. We do not need protection. Okay? We do not need protection. She's fine. Again, you're her first relationship. She needs to know what to approve on. I'm sick and tired of these guys being like, oh, we need to protect you. Protect from what? Protect from quoi? That's what in French. What? No. What? What are you talking about? You're aggravating me. You do not like her? Fine. Say that you don't like her. Stop pulling stuff out of your butt and being like, oh, I'm protecting what? You say, oh, I don't like... You're... Like, for me, personally, I can be too much from people. I'm too extroverted, It's fine, but I'm not gonna change my personality. For no one. You're not gonna... It's fine. Like, just be honest. All you guys are liars, and you won't take... Except for Michael. I'm gonna repeat. Except for Michael. And okay, with Austin, okay, Becca's too um into physical touch. You're not. Okay, we're all different, but like that doesn't mean you should deprive her from her love language. Like, I'm sick and tired of these men this season being like, oh, I didn't say that, or what, or no, I didn't, I was trying to. No, be honest. You men were being fake the entire season, except for Michael. You guys were trying to like change and make sure like when you come out of this that women wouldn't hate you, because you knew that the majority of the, if we're going to go the whole series, the majority of people that get hate are the men because how they treat the women. Just be honest. We can see right through it. I saw, he doesn't really like Emily anymore. And after the honeymoon, and I'm like, oh, maybe it's because he now knows, like, oh, I'm her first relationship. And then there was a point that he was like, I don't want to be the reason that you don't date after this. I'm like, to be honest with you, she's going to heal from this. She is going to grow from this. And you were just an a-hole. For me, I've had trauma. I saw through all the little things, all the red flags. Oh, wait, this is a red flag. This is a red flag. This also reminds me of things from a past relationship. Like, I see right through it. You will like, oh, I'll take accountability for what I did to how I treated, how I was dismissive and not with Dr. Pia. But the person that you hurt the most, the person that you should say sorry to the most, you won't say that. And I also believe in that you cheated on Emily because you did not like her. And you're like, no, I never did at all. Lies. I see right through it. I see right through it. People that have been through it will see it too and won't believe you. And won't believe any of the men in season 17. To conclude, whoever Emily ends up with is going to be lucky. I think that person is going to be a lucky person because personality-wise, we share a lot of good qualities, and she's going to learn from this and from someone that also had, not named the same way, but Brendan, and she's going to learn and grow. All I will say to conclude this podcast is we all are going to have first of everything. First relationships, first kiss, first intimacy with someone. You're always going to remember it. Always keep all your past relationships, romantic or non-romantic, in the back of your brain. Keep it in your long-term memory. Do not forget anything, because everything's a lesson. Every person that comes into your life is a lesson. Everyone that leaves your life is a lesson. It's always a lesson to grow from. Forgive. People, don't forget what they did to you, because forgetting what they did to you is 100% possibility of that repeating itself. So my friends, forgive, don't forget, because we do not want the same patterns to continue, and that's how you keep having toxic relationships after toxic relationships. And in general, for me with my Brendan, I am grateful for the things I have learned from that relationship, and how I grew from that relationship, and I grew more self-worth, more self-respect, etc., etc. And from that, I am going to continue to grow as a person. I've healed from it, and I know for when I finally find my Prince Charming, it will be great. So keep that as a reminder. With all I'm saying today is everything happens for a reason. It's to help you grow. This show, like I said before, should end. It should be a dating show, even though people are more easy to leave. And I know they do this for for people to stay in general, but I don't think that arranged marriages work. It doesn't work today. People in general are getting worse and worse. So, one more time, forgive, don't forget. You need to remember what good things you did, what bad things you did, what your significant others, good and bad things that they did as well, and keep that in your long-term memory. So when you get into your next relationship, and if you want to get married or stay with that person, you'll grow and be in a healthy relationship. So overall, that's all I have for you guys today. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Love you all.